Forgot to record. We're recording now. Okay. So once again, coming back, we've started to create a series of lower highs and lower lows. That's important, as we mentioned before. And what you guys would measure once we've had this low, this lower high, and lower low. Okay. Once you've had this shift in structure, what you guys would do is you would measure the move from this point of high all the way down to the low, right? Let's remove some extra drawing. And notice this low tested the daily open right here. This was a test of the daily open right there as well, right? So what you guys will see for this particular trade, alignment of multiple indications, right? First of all, we've changed the character to bearish on 1 minute time frame, number one. Number two, we've had this move from higher low, oh sorry, a lower high to a lower low, and we made a retracement back up. This retracement would also align with the previous high right here. Okay, so multiple confluences that you guys can see. And then you have your RSI high up, and you have 78, 71 fib extension being tapped. Okay, so that will give you guys a confirmation. Number one, trend. Number two, tap of the previous high. Number three, RSI. Number four, Fibonacci's, right? So based on that, 100% is where your stop out is, and negative 27 is when your target is, right? So this would have been a perfect trade for 3-to-1 risk to reward with 20 pips and stop and 75 pips and take profit, right? This is the best approach that I use myself for a while. I'll stop at this point. I just want to make sure people are following, especially the first timers here. Do let me know. Is that confusing? Is that clear? Does that make sense? Do you guys have any questions you want to confirm or clarify? Just want to make sure everybody's on the same page here.
Clear.
The more people that understand this concept, the more people will be able to use that going forward for yourself as well. Okay. I like how the price is consolidating here also. You guys notice we're not breaking this sharply. This could be a nice buy opportunity, to be honest, but not for too long. Okay. Again, this would be based on the fibs. So I would buy, wait for it to get here, and then get into a sell, right? Again, I don't necessarily like to trade too much, right? I believe there are only so many trades you can take in a trading session, but this could be a nice trade. It's 60 pips in potential reward for like 20 to 30 pips in stop loss. Okay. This could be a nice potential trade, but again, what I'm looking for is actually for it to get there so I could get into a short over here, and because my bias has changed now, go into that trade, right? With the daily open being the resistance. Okay, so people are following. That good. That good. Only two comments though. So I have only two people following me. Anyone else following what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
want to make sure you guys are good. Okay, Dan is following. Ali's following. That's good. Okay. Christian's following. Good, good. Fernie, Eric, amazing. Geo, Mark, awesome. I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate it. Jennifer is good. Good, good. Darian, Ernesto, Dave, Dylan, amazing guys. I appreciate the feedback because again, I know this, right? Get me right. I would be trading one way or the other, but I just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Somebody raise hand. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question. I don't mind that, right? So if you have a question, feel free, or if you're shy, type it in the chat, or if you're comfortable, unmute yourself and ask away. No problems at all. I think it will be good learning for everyone. Somebody's asking a question. When it gets to the sell point, okay, so I'm looking to get into a sell trade here, right around this gray line. When it gets to the sell point, will we sell right away or will we wait for further candle confirmations? A good question, Joanna, especially for people who are trading price action. It is important to get certain candle confirmations, but I should tell you this. On 1 minute time frame, you're not gonna have time, right? 1 minute time frame is pretty erratic. If you're check trading something like 5 minute time frame, then yes, right? On a 5 minute time frame, you would have enough time to see a candle formation and make a reaction based on that, right? If we had this bullish candle and this bearish engulfing right here, I would probably take a short trade, right, at the middle of that candle, right? So depending on what time frame you're trading, right? Hopefully that makes sense, right? Especially here, this bullish candle on 5 minute time frame, right? And then bearish engulfing, boom, right? So I would be entering on a 5 minute based on that candle formation. But the thing is, 1 minute candle does not give you enough time to enter to wait for specific candle formations, right? I would be looking for candle formation on a higher time frame, right? So on higher time frame, if you look at this one here, you notice how this 1 hour candle that we had open at 7 p.m. just engulfed this whole bullish thing, right? And we have very small wick, a very big body, right? So this gives me some thought process that, okay, price might turn bearish the way it did right here, right? And we might get a second bearish candle that would be a follow through, right? And essentially have the price come down lower to fill the gap of this candle right here, right? If we measure this candle. This is a bit of a fair value gap right here, right? And in one hour time frame, we could potentially fill this fair value gap right here, okay? And I would usually measure that, the whole candle. I'd be looking for the price to fill the 50% right here, okay? 50% right here. If we're bearish, right? So this is one of my approaches here. If we're bearish, we could have potential second candle that engulfs and breaks through the support areas and then goes on to get that fair value gap. Hopefully that makes sense, right? I just want to take a moment and say thank you for everyone who's attending. We have a pretty big show up today. We have 72 participants. So I want to say thank you all for coming through to learn, to get something new for yourself, right? And just applaud yourself, guys, for showing up, for trying to learn a new concept, or even if you know it all, right? Just for your participation, for your attendance. It is very important that we come and try to learn from each other. That will help you guys a lot long term. So, once again, thank you all for showing up. Thank you all for paying attention. I know we're not actively trading right now, but I think it's important that sometimes, less is more, and not taking a trade is also a trade, right? So keep that in mind. Okay, let's check out what we have here. Look how quickly the price, while I was speaking, I noticed that price pretty much reached with the wick. So I think Joanna was asking me, right? Was that Joanna? Joanna, yeah, look, you see, do I wait for the candle formation? Ah, missed that trade, right? On 1 minute, you don't get the opportunity to wait for candle formation or something like that, right? So optimal trade would be missed because of that, right? But that's okay. No worries. We'll see if we can get a follow through and a double tap of that area, of that zone, right? And I would be looking to sell. But notice how this trade, this buy, actually played out perfectly, right? Buy for roughly how many? 60 pips or so with the 30 pip stop. It was pretty much no drawdown trade. I did not necessarily take it on the live account, but hey, that's okay, right? That's fine. Part of the trading journey. Bear with me a second. Okay, so let's just sum it up, right? We did have one stop out. That's fine. Before that, I did enter one bearish bullish trade, which I'm gonna exit right now because I don't
Di
feel like it's
makapasok
bullish
si Phoenix,
anymore.
sa Discord ko na
Buy
lang
that check.
ano ko, i-stream ko.
I know someone's asking something. I'll mute you for now. Apologize, but if you have a question, do let me know. I'm happy to answer. We did get a second wick, as you guys can see. I'll try to get in, okay? I'll get in right here because price is rejecting heavily. I'll sell. If for any reason we go higher, I'll add to my entry another half a lot, okay? So I'll sell right here, even though it's not a perfect entry. What I'm just concerned about is these two candles before, right? Strong wicks, right? And pretty much a bearish candle after the wick. So I just wanted to make sure I get that entry because we could push all the way lower. But if we tap into the 71 region, I'm very happy to add additional entry with the stop loss around the daily open right here. Okay, if we tap the daily open one more time, then, better luck next time. Okay, another very bullish candle for now. But again, look, couple things that are aligning, right? Let's just do a quick recap as we're entering a trade, just to checklist if we're doing things right. RSI high? Yes. Is Fibonacci around? Yes. Is the market trend bearish? Yes. Let's check if Zonar is giving us any entry. Zonar is pretty far off, right? But it is bearish on 1 minute, which is good. I like to see that. And I'll get another entry right here, okay? Right, so, okay. So we have two entries. We'll let them be for now. I will place a stop loss because that's what I preach. Bear with me a second, guys. So sell, and my stop loss is going to be around 35-ish. That's where my stop is going to be. And then take profit just lower, somewhere lower. We're not going to be very specific with take profit just now. So what questions do you guys have? Let me know. Does that make sense? Is that confusing, y'all, or if everything is clear? So it's pushing pretty hard, if you guys can see, right? I see how price is reacting right here. Price is moving very, very fast. I don't necessarily want to get stopped out, so I will place my stop loss a little higher, okay? Oh, we did. Okay, we did. Price moved very aggressively. I'll get another re-entry right here at the daily open. Unfortunately, that previous one stopped me out, but that's fine. I'll just add one more at the daily open and place my stop loss just higher. There you go. Messy, don't like that, but that's okay. Part of the game. So we have another entry at 35.66, a sell trade. We'll change that. 35.66-ish. Again, I don't like that price moved so quick, but again, one thing very important, guys, is that we are closing with a wick to the downside. Keep that in mind, right? And we do have another entry still from lower on. And again, we did reject the daily open just now with that 1 minute candle. Keep that in mind, right? So I like to see the rejection. If we go bullish further, that's okay. If we break this here, that's bullish direction, which is again, this could have been a manipulation in that case, right? Manipulation and a liquidity grab. Again, we're learning here, right? So it's important to understand the price bias and everything else. But for now, it's a pretty decent reaction, right? We've rejected the daily open one more time. We check the higher time frame candles, right? We have a bit of a bullishness here, but I do hope we get a bit of a rejection and then continue lower just because we broke this area of support, right? This wick right here, we went lower. So I'm expecting a change, a continuation to the downside. We've had a bunch of breaks of structure here. Let me check the comments if anybody has any questions. Okay, so Joanna mentioned that they missed the top wick entry, didn't notice it. Again, price is pretty bullish right now. You see how heavy bullish candles we're having. The only thing that's keeping me in the trade, again, RSI is pretty high, right? I do hope this is a bit of a manipulation before we continue lower. So I'm willing to stay in this trade for a little bit longer unless we break. I'll show you guys here, as I showed you guys, this area here, right? Again, notice how RSI has been just obliterated. So it's not always perfect in this case. But what I could do, I could pull it all the way from the top, right? I can change my bias here and pull it all the way from the top. And then that means this one we broke through, that's fine. But the higher time frame RSI from this top to this low is still valid around 61%, right? That's where we at right now. So again, that's the question of perspective, right? What RSI do you use? From where to where do you use it as well, right? So keep that in mind. I'd love for the price to continue selling off here, right? But it is pretty bullish, as you guys can see. But I would love to see price moving bearish from now on. Again, this could be a retest of the daily level, right? But then we broke it with a, let's see if the 5 minute candle closed. Not yet, not just yet. So in case, look how we broke this area here. If we break this as well and the price just continues going higher, that means this was a grab of liquidity right here, just lower there, right? And the mistake that we've had is we've had a bit of a tight stop loss, right? When we were entering, the stop loss was too tight. This trade entry was good, but Again, pretty weird price action, if you ask me, on 1 minute time frame, because the price had a series of lower highs and lower lows, and now that has changed, right? With this break, that has changed. But I still want to remain bearish in this situation, right? So we'll see how that plays out. So again, a little messy, if you ask me. Let's just remove, go into settings. Okay, play around with that later. But still in two trades for now on gold. Let's see how that plays out. I'd love to see some bearish price action on this chart, but we'll see if that's right or wrong. Okay. Let me know if you guys have questions, right? Obviously, we have a pretty high show up right now. Around 90 people joined, right? Again, want to admit things when things are wrong. Price has moved very violently into the bullish side right here, but I'm just willing to give it one last try around the 78% fib, as well as the RSI on a higher time frame, like 3 minute, right? We are still pretty high, so there is still a chance that we will tap into this area in terms of structure, create a bit of a head and shoulders situation, and continue lower. So I'm just willing to give it one last try in terms of short. But notice how, again, we had a nice bias, right, when we were lower here in terms of bullish direction, but we were just stopped out, right? And price went through these candles. So I had to change my bias, right? I didn't necessarily have a choice. Um, so we'll need to look into that and see if we can make some correction on the mistakes. But again, we'll see. We'll see if that is still the case or not, because I do believe we might go lower. We're consolidating on the RSI. We've tapped into these highs and these highs. We're rejecting that right now. So then once again, the trade that we're in is a sell at 46, 36-ish. Right, so let's update that. Let's remove this. 36-ish. That's where we're selling. Stop loss is going to be just above 78%. So around 40 is where our stop loss is going to be, okay, for this particular trade. Right there. And then take profit. Oh, trust me, I'm gonna be crazy with that. I'm gonna go all the way down to these lows, because if we go down as violently as we came back up, right? So keep that in mind. Boom. There you go. Okay, some questions. We're thinking to sell. And then Eric is saying maybe it's only a retracement. Are we gonna sell now? So Master Lucky. I am selling, but again, this is just one final attempt at the sell, right? The problem is price has essentially broken through these highs right here, right? And if we break these highs, that means price will continue to the upside, right? It is possible that we will break these highs as well if we break this one here, right? That means the whole bearish setup is invalid. We had to change our bias because of the break, right? But if we break this high right here, that means price will change and change its correct structure and continue to go into bullish direction, right? One thing that I could look at just on a cleaner chart, if we check that, from here, when we tested the zone to here, we've tapped the 71%, right? The reason why we've had a reaction, right? We've tested this area, right? And we could continue all the way higher. So if you are bullish yourself, right, you could be looking out for 41.52 as your initial target and 41.62 as your secondary target. This is once again, if you're bullish, if you have your own trade ID or your own trade bias, once again, depending on the approach, right? I'm going to stay bearish for now. Price had a bit of bullish candles right here, but I do believe we can turn bearish right now and then go lower, right? So we'll take one last hit at it. If that's wrong, that's okay. No problems. We'll admit the mistake and move on, right? Let me know if you guys have questions. Does that make sense, right? And one more thing, right? While we're in that trade, while we're letting it play out, just want to share what I use in terms of my analysis and daily levels and key levels and everything that I trade based on. Just let me remove this. bear with me a second. Just want to make sure we don't see that on higher time frames because it's, let's show it. Minute time frames. Those are our trading strategies that we use. But okay, that's better. So for people who are beginners, okay, yeah, it is starting to go down, right? So once again, that's the reason I was still staying in my bias for shorts, right? Hopefully it continues lower, but we'll see, right? Never say never. Don't say hop until you finish your jump, right? So now, couple things that I want to highlight what I trade based off. You guys might see a lot of lines. You guys might be confused as to what that is. I highlight levels based on different time frames, based on candles. Okay. I start with a monthly. You guys will notice, right? Gold has been pretty bullish for the past 3, 4 months, obvious. Now, I highlight, you guys will see here, November monthly open, NMO, right here, right? So this is our November monthly open, and this is from where we've had the bullish price action during the month of November. So I have this marked as a green line. Boom. Next thing, I have my weekly open. Okay. So I mark up where current week has opened up. How do you do that? Right? You have your ray, your horizontal ray, and then you pull up a magnet and you move that here. I mark up with blue color just so I can differentiate the levels based on colors and based on time frames, right? So for my weekly time frame, I use blue color, weekly open. Now I have another one, previous weekly open, not as thick, but it shows me that previous week was bearish, this one here, and that's my previous weekly open, right? I do have this one here, bearish previous weekly open, and this one doesn't require it because, it's just weekly high, right? It's pretty high up there, and the wick tapped that perfectly. So I highlighted most important weekly levels, okay? Keep that in mind. Next things is on a daily, I've highlighted where the daily candles open up. Okay, it is very important. So for example, I have this one here. This was my daily bearish candle. And notice how we retest those daily bearish candles with a wick. Okay, then I have my purple color daily open right here. You notice how we're still hovering around it. If you check the daily candle, hasn't done nothing. Right? We're literally doing nothing, moving from wick to wick, back and forth, but we're literally at the daily open right now. Okay, so keep that in mind, please, that we haven't gone in any direction just yet on a daily level. Okay. Next thing is we highlight some other daily levels that are also important. For example, this one here, right? That's from where we've had the bearish movement come in. We've highlighted this daily candle right here and some other ones that you think might be important, right? But notice again, they will align with the weekly levels and so forth, right? This daily open right here from where we started the bullish price action. So couple levels that would be relevant, right? And then I marked up the 4 hour candles, right? So previous 4 hour candle right here marked up, right, as an area of support. And then I have this 4 hour candle from where we've had a bearish momentum marked up as well, right? So when we retest some areas, we're probably retesting the 4 hour areas and 4 hour candles, right? So those candles are important to mark up because you'll notice this 4 hour candle, we've tested that candle with this whole price action right here, right? We might break lower, but it's just interesting to see how we get the reaction off of those levels that we mark up, right? And notice how we're hovering around the daily open and so on and so forth, right? So price is quite predictable, especially around the important levels. Notice how we are around the daily open again, right? Price has moved lower RSI. We've rejected the 71 and 78 fibs, which is pretty good. So once again, for me on a higher time frame, right? Say 3 minute time frame per se. We could mark this up as a high, as a low. Give me a second. So our high, a low, a lower high that we tested just now, and we could continue lower, right? For now, still valid, still holds, right? Unless told otherwise. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know, guys. Was that helpful? The daily levels, the weekly levels, and everything else in between. you can mark up those levels and pretty much trade from them, right? So if you can, for example, see some bias that is bullish for you, you can mark up this 1 hour candle and say this is 1 hour bullish candle, right? 1H bullish candle, right? So then what you could do, right, is pretty much wait for the price to come to this area and then get into a long from there, right? Because that's where the candle opened up. If you're convinced your bias is bullish, candle will retest it, but then continue higher up, right? To close as a bullish candle. So important to mark up your hourly candles, your daily, your weekly candles. It will be your friend in need and a friend indeed. Okay. So people are saying, yes, I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate it all. Thank you very much for your feedback. Hopefully you guys are able to learn something new. So once again, right, just to come back, I'd love for this to melt, guys, just to give you some bread, right, and to give you guys some good trade results right here. But again, price is taking its sweet time when it's moving bearish for some reason now. But you know what? Just for the sake of it, let me add another short trade. Boom, right? Just to cover for the previous loss that we had. And once again, notice how this trade right here, I'm gonna actually reduce my stop loss a little bit lower, just below this, above this high, because if we break this, I'm not gonna go for any shorts anymore, right? If we break this, I think it's gonna be invalid. I'm not gonna try to go into shorts. I'm just gonna stay away until bias has been established, right? So just to clarify, if we break this and say retest, right? I'm not gonna get into a trade. I'm actually gonna stay outside of the trade. I will wait for this area to be broken. Okay. That is when I will be entering a trade. Once again, this will be a no trade area for me. If we break this higher and retest, I could potentially look for buys, right? So some areas would be an area of no trade for me, right? So if it breaks this high, I would be looking to get into buys. That would be interesting, yes. But if we break this one here, this area is no trade for me, right? Because it's not good for a long, it's not good for a short because you don't have a bias for that or a confirmation for that. So I really would not see any reason to be entering from there. Okay, so this area right here, in between, no trade area for me, right? If we're lower than this, I could be looking for a sell. That's where we are right now. If we're going to go above that, I'm going to be looking for a buy. But as of right now, still bearish. Once again, my bearish bias was based on the trend on a smaller time frame, right? And the fact that we've broken this low, right? Even though we've broken it with wicks, but a broken low is a broken low, right? This one right here, right? You see this higher low that we've created on 5 minute time frame or whatever, you can clearly see it was broken, right? This one here, right? No matter how you look at it, it was broken and there is nothing that will convince me otherwise, right? Somebody will say it was a test of liquidity, right? A liquidity grab, liquidity sweep. But when the low is broken, it's a change of character, and with a change of character, I need to switch my bias, right, to bearish, right, and pretty much not look for any buys anymore at this stage, unless we will say that this has been broken to the upside, and then this was a manipulation. It is a confirmation for me then I was manipulated out. Okay. So does that make sense, guys? I hope it makes sense for you guys, right? This can be considered a manipulation and a liquidity grab only if we continue higher, retest this, and continue higher. Okay. Then I can say, hey, yeah, I was stopped out. My bad, didn't have a stop wide enough or whatever, 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 right? Only if we continue higher. And I need to see that with a price, right? But we did not break the high yet, right? This high right here, it's not broken yet, right? So for now, this is not a manipulation, right? This is a change of character to the downside, and I would be looking for the price to continue lower. Okay. Okay, you check some comments. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. If you guys are enjoying the session, I'm aware that, we didn't have 5 trades winning or whatever, right? I've had one bias throughout the whole session, or actually two different ones, right? We were trying to go into a long trade here, which did not work out, and we're trying to go into short trades now. But again, it's not about trading for the most part as much as it is about education, in my opinion, right? And hopefully you guys learn something new. Hopefully you get some value out of this trading session. So if you like it, just type some W's in the chat. I would appreciate that, and I'll answer a couple questions in the meantime. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. What is the TP target? Brian is asking. Let me let you know, Brian. So for the TP, there are two ways you could go about it. Okay. Two ways you could go about it. Number one, you could, depending on what your bias is, okay? So aggressive TPs, right, would be here, here, and here, right? This is based on the fibs, okay? This is based on the bearish fib, right? So let me highlight the TPs for you guys. Again, you see how bullish price is moving right now, so I don't even know if we're gonna reach there, but 22, 17, and 110, right? Those would be the three TP areas. I would probably be looking to exit here and here, right? This would be a nice risk to reward ratio for me personally, right? As soon as it's reached, I'd be happy. It's 4 to 1, right? So roughly 130 pips or 200 pips, more than enough for me to be happy, right? Now these are pretty ambitious TPs. On the smaller side, in terms of TPs, what you could be looking out for is pull up a fib. Essentially, you had this bullish move here, pull up a fib from the low to the high. It could get messy. So I want to make sure you guys are careful, but your third TP area would be right here in between. So around 27-ish. And that is roughly 100 pips, give or take, right? So 27, 22, and 17. Those would probably be the three TPs that I would be looking out for. If you are short, that would make a lot of sense, right? The 61 I would not take into consideration. It is pretty far out. Maybe I would leave a 10% runner on that. But these would be the three areas that I would be looking to exit my trade from. Okay. Hopefully that helps, Brian. Now, Alvin Ray is asking, is there a breakout on your resistance? If there is a breakout on your resistance, do we always expect a pullback before we enter the trade? No, not always, right? Sometimes the price will just run away from you. So, to show you an example, right? I was actually in a trade earlier during New York, right? Show you very quickly. Um, Price did not pull back, right? Not always price will pull back. This example right here, right? Right here. We've had these highs, and that's when I was trading around lunchtime and stuff like that, right? So, sorry guys, 1 second. Where is it? There goes my box. Forget how to trade. Where my box at? There you go. Okay. This area right here, right? I noticed that we didn't necessarily break out, but we tapped the highs and then the price just ran away. So some people would place a limit buy right above these highs to take advantage of that whole move, right? But again, you would never know really whether it will continue to the upside or not. Same as here, right? This area right here, you notice how when we broke these highs, the price did not retest. It just went higher, right? I'm just saying I would be waiting for a retest in one way, shape, or form. It's not going to happen right away, right? The same way we break out here. Notice this one here. We had this high, right? We broke above, but we came up to retest it. That's when I would be looking out to get into a long trade, right? You would probably pull up a fib here, and that would be a valid fib as well, right? And RSI would be low. Boom, there you go, right? So there would be multiple confluences for you guys to enter this long trade. This is a retest, RSI is low, fib is there, yada, 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 right? And this is a nice 150 pips. So what I'm saying, it's not always going to retest, or it's not going to retest right away. But one way or another, if retest happens, yes, I'm looking for a buy. Not always it will happen. And if it doesn't happen, that's okay. Let it run away. Not my problem for today, right? Okay, hopefully that helps. I'll run it for 3 minutes more so you guys have some time to ask questions. But again, I'm still staying in this trade for now. There is nothing to tell me otherwise. I'd love for this to melt just to, end it with a nice W. We'll see if that 9 p.m. candle will give us something. But for now, we'll stick online with you guys for a couple more minutes. As we enter a sell on 4139 area, may I know the criteria for the TP? So I hope that TP clarified for you, right? TP based on multiple things, right? Number one, the reverse fib. That's for conservative TP. Okay, reverse fib. That's what I call it. My concept. Essentially fib in a different direction, right? If we have this breakout to the upside, we could retest here before we continue higher, right? So as soon as we reach around here, the 4127-ish, I would be starting to look to exit my trade, at least partially, right? That would be around 90 pips, 100 pips roughly. Again, secondary pip would be the low, secondary TP would be the lows, 4122. And the third TP would be 4117. That is based on the fib extension -27, right? -0.027 based on that. Okay. So hopefully the criterias are clear. Appreciate the W's in the chat. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So yeah, TPs are based a lot on the fibs, but you could base it off the levels, right, as well. Thank you guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. Again, we didn't get, perfect trades per se, and catching every single trade, but I just want to highlight before we finish, right? Just to show you guys that we started the session around 8 p.m., right? So this is all the price action we got, right? You tell me if there were a lot of trade opportunities. I'll tell you, yes, there were some, by all means. This was a bit too early for us to enter and catch. The only trade opportunity I see here is this long indeed, right? But I did get stopped out from it, unfortunately. My stop was just below the wick. I got stopped out with that wick right there, right? And that's it. That's the only trade opportunity I see. The problem is it would be a counter trend trade. The only reason is the retest of this whole zone. That's it. So you wouldn't have a lot of reasons to enter that particular long. Again, it would be a counter trend trade. The only reason you would be looking to enter is based on the RSI being low and this area being tested. But one thing I like to say, and I want to highlight it once again, you don't know where to place your stop loss. Is it going to be here, 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 here? You don't know, right? So that's a bit of a problem. Price has moved a bit bullish right here, but we'll stay in the trade. We'll stick to it for now. We'll see how price is going to develop. Once again, guys, I would say if we break this area here, as I mentioned, okay, that's it. It's no trade zone for me. Most probably got stopped out. There you go. Did get stopped out. Okay, so keep that in mind. Be careful because from here, I'm not looking to get into any trade. Price has moved bullish now. This fib has been broken. Keep it in mind. This fib has not been tapped, so remove that. And now the only thing that I could potentially wait for, the price to break above, and then for me to continue entering from there. Okay. So not the best trading session, I would say, right? But again, look at the price action. I wouldn't necessarily say I love it, right? Previous day's price action during Tokyo was a little bit nicer. Just to show you guys really quick. Sometimes it moves very nicely, sometimes it doesn't, right? But right here. It's not as violent per se, and it's more predictable, right? So this was here. Price was just simply selling off, right? In one direction only. A sell-off, I like to trade that a little bit more, right? So a sell-off, consolidation, and another sell-off. So keep that in mind that in 1 hour or so, you guys won't get a lot of trade opportunities to get in, to get out, to change your bias, so on and so forth. This would probably be 2 trades max, right? Short position from somewhere there, exit, and then potentially another short into the lows, right? That's from yesterday. From today, again, just to recap, looking into what happened during the trading session. As you guys saw, hopefully everyone who was online, we were bullish, right? We were trying to get into a long trade, but the problem was that once again, my logic was below these wicks is where the change of character would happen, right? Which, in my opinion, it did, right? So now that the price has just continued to the upside, if we break this high, we will tell ourselves, hey, look, we made a mistake, right? What happened was here, it was not a change of character because we did not close with the body, right? What happened is we closed with the wicks, right? There was no body below these wicks. That's an important point also to mention. And we didn't have a change of character, but we had a grab of liquidity in this particular situation, right? So we got stopped out when we were trying to enter the buys right here. Yes, if the stop was a little bit wider, right, half the position size, this trade would have played out perfectly, right? Right there. But you live and learn. So again, hopefully a good learning for you guys as well. But once again, for me to still confidently say this was a liquidity grab, this needs to break the high. So hopefully a good learning for you guys. Once again, want to round up by saying thank you all for coming through, for participating, for asking questions, for spending a time, a moment, an hour of your day trying to learn something new, trying to ask questions. So thank you all. Again, I'd love to bring you guys, flawless results, but I also want to be transparent with you guys, right? So during today's session, it is a losing session, right? So full transparency, not the best trading session so far. One, two, three, four trades lost, right? But they are very small risk. As you guys can see, again, I just want to highlight this. Hopefully this clarifies. By no means I'm perfect, even though I've been trading for 10 years. I manage my risk in a way that I lose 250 to $500 on a trade idea, right? So when I was looking to get into my shorts, I gave myself multiple opportunities, yes, indeed, but I did not lose more than $500 in total, right? 300 and then 150, $500 total lost, which is 2% of the account on the trade idea to go short based on the whole analysis that we did. So I did not over leverage, I did not go crazy, I did not lose multiple grand trying to go short. All I did simply distribute my risk across multiple entries, and if that did not work out, that's fine. We'll get the opportunity next time, right? Again, watch out. Possible that it will go lower from here unless we break the highs, right? So hopefully some learning for you guys. We'll meet again on Wednesday and we will see what happens. But actually, let me give you guys a quick prediction as to what I think will happen by Wednesday. Let's actually do it on this chart here. It's a little cleaner, right? Just so you guys can come back and say, hey, coach, you were right, or maybe you were wrong. Quick analysis. Staying a little bit extra for you guys to have some content to look into. Okay. So vertical, we're gonna meet Wednesday at 8. What I believe will happen, and once again, this is the whole fair value gap. I do believe that we will go a little bit higher from here, around these areas right here. So continuation to the upside, consolidation, and then move lower. Okay, something like that. I do believe this is what will happen. And then we'll take it from there. So meet me back on Wednesday to tell me, hey, coach, you were right, or coach, you were wrong, right? But again, hopefully some good learning for you guys, right? I do think we'll tap into this whole fair value gap area and then continue lower from there, just to come back into the zone. So we'll see you guys on Wednesday. I appreciate everybody sticking with me through this trading session. Hopefully, as I said, you guys learned something. And most importantly, you guys are consistently showing up. It's about doing things consistently, making things boring. And trust me when I say it, as soon as this trading session is done, I'll step away. I'll give myself 10, 15 minutes to reset before I look at the charts and look into my next trade. So the more consistent you become, the more boring your trading becomes, the better it is going to be for you, right? Make sure to take care of your other areas of life, whether it's gym, whether it's work, whether your family or loved ones. Life does not revolve only around trading, but we try to make our life better thanks to trading, right? So stay blessed, guys. Thank you very much once again. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, and we will meet once again on Wednesday. Cheers, everyone. Thank you.